versus Saitama.
I'm not even on the right shit. Hold on, bro. Hold on, bruv.
In the anime world, the strongest is shown in multiple ways, but today we're going to be looking at the pinnacle of defense in the Jujutsu world versus the pinnacle of offense in One Punch Man.
That's actually very true. Pinnacle of defense, because nobody can touch him with his infinity, and the Saitama who can destroy everybody in one punch.
So who wins? Limitless versus Limitless. Who wins?
Ooh,
Satoru
really?
Gojo.
Ooh, what was that clean as fuck?
Versus Saitama.
Why was
Satoru
that so
Gojo,
clean?
being the strongest sorcerer in the modern age, as his birth alone
Isn't he
shaped
the
the
strongest sorcerer in all time? At least that's how the glazing narrator introduced him. That narrator was glazing Gojo the whole shit.
balance of the entire world, with Gojo fighting cursed spirits separated into different grades based on their cursed energy, and even fighting against the devil himself.
Sukuna.
His power seems to be, well, limitless. With Gojo completely embarrassing Joko, who is the strongest of the disaster curses, with Joko scaling above special grade curses like
I mean, Sukuna embarrassed him too. He want to go there. Oh, Sukuna embarrassed him too, bro. You know what I'm saying? Sukuna embarrassed his ass.
Dagon, who can create literal islands with his domain expansion, and all the disaster curses are ready to run from Gojo's presence alone, with their plan to bring about the Age of Cursed Spirits being to seal away Satoru Gojo and grant Ryomen Sukuna his full strength, implying that they thought if all the curses in existence joined forces with a 20-finger Sukuna, they would still
Whoa, no, I don't think that's what they thought. I think they thought that full power Sukuna could actually be Gojo.
Seal away Gojo. Even sorcerers like Yuki Tsukima, who can create literal black holes that are stated to be capable of destroying the entire world, are still looked down upon by Gojo. But Gojo's strength isn't truly what makes him terrifying. It's the fact that no attack that any opponent throws will ever touch him because of his ability. In Jump Giga Summer, a lecture was given by two special grade mathematicians and the JJK editor, Mr. Takano.
What? Wait, stop right there. What? A mathematician? What? Why the fuck were they there?
Theorized on how Gojo's ability works using in real life math and science, with them coming to the conclusion that Gojo creates an infinite space between him and his opponent and rapidly.
We already know that. We already know that. There was no need for them to explain this shit. We already knew that.
Down the movements of his opponents, and as a result, they can never touch his body, which is later explained as using the same concept as the Achilles and the tortoise paradox, with Gojo even referencing it in the manga. The paradox proposed by an ancient Greek philosopher named Zeno proposes that if Achilles raced a tortoise given a head start, he would never reach it due to there being an infinite amount of halfway points between him and the tortoise. Since each time Achilles would reach a halfway point between him and the tortoise, there would always be another halfway point between that and another between that, all the way into the reachless heights of infinity, which in reality would make motion impossible, as you would never reach point B from point A. However, this is not the case for Gojo.
That doesn't make sense.
His ability is described as using things such as neutral negative numbers, and impossible situations like -1 apples are born.
What the fuck? What the fuck? Yo, that just flew over my head. What the hell does that even mean, bro? Nigga, oh my god. This is not what I came here for. I did not come here to learn math, bro. I wanted to. Come on, man. What the fuck? Ooh, why am I learning math, bro?
Gojo's ability makes impossible things possible, as Zeno's paradox.
Couldn't you just have said that, bro? Instead of giving me a fucking headache.
Lives within Gojo's ability. As in the same way that you would need to take an infinite amount of steps to reach the tortoise, you would need to take an infinite amount of steps to reach Gojo, with Limitless giving birth to techniques that he can use against his opponents. As when Gojo encounters the sorcerer killer Toji, he uses his technique of blue, which is bringing
Toji ran his ass, bro. Toji elevated him, because the way Toji elevated his ass.
The concept of negative space into existence. When he does this, the surrounding area tries to fill up the negative space, creating an immense force of attraction that can make bodies implode and even amplify his stats, making him stronger and faster. But Toji was able to prepare for this and nearly kill the strongest sorcerer. However, at the brink of death, Gojo was able to use a new ability, with Gojo returning from the dead by using the reverse curse technique. This is a special type of curse technique that takes cursed energy and reverses it into positive energy, allowing Gojo to heal himself from death. As Gojo and Toji fight, he was able to channel reverse cursed energy, red. Being twice the cursed energy of blue, this creates a repel effect that can send someone like Toji who can defeat special grade curses like...
What the hell, bro? This is my problem with Gojo. Why is he giving me a science and math lecture? Just to learn about his abilities, I gotta learn math and science at the same time. What the fuck? What the hell, bro?
Dagon flying. And now for the best of both worlds. The combination of both infinities of red and blue creates an imaginary mass, an imaginary technique, hollow purple. This technique erases whatever is in its way out of existence, with this technique being argued to move at the speed of light, going off the theory of
It
tachyon.
erases shit, bro? This is why I never understood his moveset. Like, what the fuck does that mean?
Tachyons being particles made of imaginary mass that move beyond the
go again. This is not what I'm here for, bro.
speed of light, with hollow
Tachyon,
purple
is it? Ain't that from Flash?
functioning similarly. But the greatest technique in Gojo's arsenal is his domain expansion. The
I mean,
domain
that's for
expansion
everybody.
is the most supreme technique of any jujutsu user. It's achieved by expanding one's innate domain with cursed energy while using a barrier to construct it inside a separate space, with these domain expansions being a guaranteed hit on your opponent, meaning getting caught in one of these domain expansions is an instant defeat. However, it's not completely over, as when Gojo was fighting the strongest disaster curse,
Oh,
Jogo used his
Utah.
domain
I love Utah, bro. First of all, his shit was simple. That's what Gojo shit is so
expansion on
complicated.
Gojo, which allowed him to bypass infinity, meaning he could kill Gojo. However, Gojo explains the best way to escape a domain expansion is to lay out your own. Gojo's domain expansion Infinite Void presents the target with limitless information, compelling them to see and feel all the information in the universe all at once, causing a state of paralysis as you slowly die. Gojo also possesses the Sixth Eyes, which allows him to see the cursed energy of others on an extremely detailed level, as he can see the souls of others and can see the soul of Sukuna inside Yuji's body. Additionally, his eyes allow him to have an infinite use of his curse technique, with characters like Naobito being rumored to be the fastest sorcerer. This includes everyone with the exception of Gojo. Gojo would later go on to take
See
on
how what I'm talking about, the way the narrator was glazing Gojo throughout the whole shit? He's always glazing this man.
King of Curses to find out who truly is the strongest jujutsu sorcerer in history. Sukuna possesses Megami's body and has 19 fingers, and using Megami's 10 shadows, with this treasure he summons Mahoraga, a Shikigami that is literally able to adapt to anything. And in this case, Mahoraga was showing Sukuna the blueprint for Gojo's infinity, and yet Gojo is still able to fight a 3v1 and knock out the King of Curses with a Black Flash. Overall, Satoru Gojo would scale from island level to planetary, with high hypersonic faster than
Yeah, planetary would make sense since his shit can literally erase it.
light speed. But now Gojo's opponent is someone who has won almost every battle in a single punch. Saitama, a human who gained the power of God, now has the ability to defeat all of his
Power of
opponents
God,
in
let's
one
chill. That's not the case.
punch. Saitama's character is described as being an endgame protagonist placed at the beginning of the series. Saitama was able to break his limiter by doing excruciating training over 3 years. As a result,
What kind of bro? That was not even that crazy, bro. That was not even that crazy of training.
Broken, allowing Saitama's strength to grow without an end in sight. With this power in his hands, Saitama cannot lose.
I don't think
Among
that's the case.
stars, there's another being who's become bored fighting weak opponents and wants a challenge. Boros, an alien from space known as the Dominator of the universe, has his targets locked on Earth,
that's
coming
be as
for
hard.
one man. Pause. Boros comments on Saitama's
say?
powers locked on Earth, coming for one man.
Oh, hey,
Pause.
yo.
Boros comments on Saitama's power, saying he has immeasurable strength, with Saitama at this point in the series having defeated every single monster with a single normal punch. However, Boros is different. Boros is actually able to survive one of Saitama's normal punches.
He
and
survived
kick
multiple
Saitama
of
all the
them.
way from the Earth to the moon. And Saitama performs his best speed feat so far as he jumps from the moon to the earth, which would require him to be moving about 299,792 kilometers per second, or the speed of light.
My man, how are you calculating this, bro? Because I'm so lost.
Decides to finish it, and Saitama couldn't agree more, as Boros charges up his most powerful attack called the Collapsing Star Roaring Cannon, which is stated to be able to destroy the entire planet's surface. Saitama finally showing a glimpse of his true strength as he uses his serious
Saitama was not planet level before.
Punch.
Before Garo, I'm talking.
From this punch being enough to obliterate Boros' Collapsing Star Roaring Cannon.
I mean, I guess he could. Yeah, you could stretch it,
which
and
would reach
give him
multi-continental levels of strength.
Yeah, not planetary. Once he fight Garo, I guess I can't give him the planetary.
Was still holding back, and now Saitama is once again alone in the universe as the strongest in existence. Saitama ends up fighting Garo, who is a human whose goal is to become a monster himself, and his passion to achieve this goal literally allows him to do it and becomes Monster Garo. Garo in his fight against Platinum Sperm is able to fight so fast that their movements are happening within fractions of a second, with their speed being count all the way to 200 times faster than light. Garo is able to arrive in the presence of God, and God offers him some of his power, and all Garo has to do is take his hand.
Yeah, he did not take it.
Garo declines and slaps his hand out of the way, but even that slight touch between God and Monster produces something terrifying.
Cosmic
when
Garo
Garo lands back down on Earth, he's not a monster anymore. He's a god. Garo defeated all of the heroes, and when Saitama...
He's not really a god. He's not really a god. I guess you could say a pseudo-god, but he's not a god.
Arrives on the battlefield just in time to see Garo punch a hole through Genos' core.
Yep.
We now see...
That was the first time he got angry.
Why Saitama was holding back. Holding his friend's core in his hand, the only thing he can think about now is serious punch. If this punch lands, Garo will be erased from existence, but he decides to do the only thing to match Saitama's power. He literally matches Saitama's power. With both of them winding up serious punches, their clash connects in space, and it launches Garo and Saitama to one of Jupiter's moons, but in the opposite direction, they left a hole in space. With this punch being labeled a serious punch squared, and seeing as though they were able to destroy all the stars within this radius, and using inverse square law, we can see that this punch generated multi-galaxy levels of power. Saitama states that he's now...
What did he just say, bro? The reverse, I don't know what?
Now using his full strength, and begins throwing Garo around the moon as he's able to grab subspace gates and rips off the surface of the moon with a serious table flip. We get a look at how Saitama's strength actually works as it's shown on a graph in comparison to Garo. We see that Saitama has finite jumps, however there's no end. The manga confirms that this is exponential growth, meaning he continuously gets stronger without limit rather than literal infinite mass punches. He grows so exponentially fast that Garo can't copy his strength, and Saitama catches his punch. And what happens next? Well, Saitama sneezes, and just the force of his sneeze is powerful enough to destroy Jupiter, leaving only the core. Garo kicks Saitama to the sun and tries to escape to Earth, but Saitama uses a serious fart and moves massively faster than light and is able to catch up to Garo. Yeah, this is the official manga. Garo teaches Saitama a technique that allows him to travel back in time, saying that if anyone can master the power of God without taking his hand, it's him. Saitama is launched back in time and the reversal of causality to perform a feat that not even the One Punch Man can do, ending a fight in 0 punches. With Saitama later taking on Empty Void, who took Garo's power and is able to do something pretty interesting. Empty Void uses an ability that defies the very causality of the universe, allowing him to perceive all the infinite possibilities and manipulate parallel worlds.
Bro, this shit makes no sense.
But this one means Empty Void himself is above the causality of the universe, as he just placed himself there using his ability. And whenever he does a slash on the orbs, it only does a certain amount of damage to the planet or area that he's attacking, and it doesn't affect the entire timeline. Regardless, Saitama is able to catch these attacks and defeat him casually. Overall, Saitama would scale to multi-galaxy with massively faster than light speed. In terms of pure strength and
Okay.
speed, this fight isn't
So who
close at
wins?
all, and it's completely one-sided, as Saitama outscales Gojo in his entire verse millions of times over.
Yeah, I
However,
kinda
the
guessed
true
that.
argument comes when we ask the
Yeah,
question
but
if Saitama can
can
get past infinity.
infinity.
Because if Saitama is unable to bypass infinity, he would eventually slow down and can be hit with a domain expansion, which would grant Gojo the win. However, this wouldn't be the case. Gojo's ability is shown to activate automatically. However, that doesn't mean it's instantaneous, as Gojo says himself that what he was doing consciously is now happening automatically, meaning his ability would activate as fast as his perception, as his ability has to go through a filtering process to be able to stop attacks
And
from
Saitama
reaching
would be too
Gojo.
fast.
If his ability is unable to perceive Saitama's movements, nothing is stopping Saitama from one-shotting him. But this would actually go even further, as Saitama has the ability to interact with non-physical things like Garo's gates, and could theoretically just grab infinity and move it to the side.
Wait,
Another
what?
win condition
How
for
the fuck would he do it? Alright, let's not stretch it, bro. How the fuck would you grab an infinite amount of space and move it to the side? That's just not possible, bro.
Saitama would be simply destroying the planet, as he now can breathe in space. However, this probably isn't a route that Saitama would take. However, Gojo's domain expansion Infinite Void would be a win condition, but there are a few ways for Saitama to get out of this. For starters, Saitama could simply break the domain expansion from the inside before Infinity takes its
Wait. Oh, I lost connection, bro.
Saitama could simply break the domain expansion from the inside before Infinity takes its full effect, as within 0.2 seconds it causes normal people to go into comas for several months, and Saitama is definitely fast enough to break out. So just like almost everyone expected, Saitama is going to win. And shout out to Eric, who dropped 70 to sponsor
But he
this
wouldn't win
video.
in one punch,
In
though.
the end, if
Not one
Gojo
punch.
thought he could beat Saitama, he couldn't be more wrong. Stand proud, Gojo. Well, you weren't all that strong. What's up, guys? It's Divine. If
Why
you
is
guys
he laughing at Gojo, bro? Why is he laughing at Gojo? I'm not gonna lie, that's disrespectful, man. That's disrespectful. You ain't gotta laugh at my boy, yo. That was disrespectful, man. Uncalled for. Uncalled for, bro. You did not have to laugh at him.